Hi, this is my 9116 double horse FP helicopter. It's been modded quite a bit, and today we're going to look at these mods and just work out what works and what doesn't work. Out of the box, this helicopter's it's a bit of a dog really. It doesn't fly very well on the wind, it hasn't got much forward momentum, and it hasn't got much on the controls either. It's a bit sloppy and it's all over the place. This bird I've got here is the opposite. It flies straight, no pendulum effect, very fast and very good on the controls. Now, double horse I think made one big error, or maybe two big errors in their head design. If you have a look at the head I've got here, you'll notice that the bottom control links here, they're almost straight up and down, they're vertical. Now on the double horse that's not the case, it's sitting over on a 30-degree angle at least. Now I think that's to do with the phasing. If we have a look, I've got my swash balls here at around about 90 degrees to the forward position of the helicopter. If we tilt that over, you can see the actual phasing. You can see the angle of the blade here, the angle of the 45-degree fly bar. That's quite different. It's around about 10 degrees different to the double horse. So what I've used the main shaft, or this component in here, which goes through where the blade grips are actually bolted onto. That is from a DH9116 helicopter, which is a helicopter similar to this, but they've done it differently. Now by getting this phasing right, like I said, we've got this bottom link here, that's all nice and vertical. The other thing that happens, I think, is that we have a different angle on the top here as well. Like I put in some different arms up here. This is called the Align SF mixing arm, and we've got around about 2-to-1 ratio. It's 1.9 to 1 ratio. So we've got a smaller distance over here for this arm, and then nearly twice the distance across to the other arm. Now the standard double horse one is basically balanced. It's equal on both sides. And I think with the phasing the way it is, this allows it all to work more nicely, because you can see we've got an angle on these arms, and we've got an angle on those arms, and we've also got a bigger distance here. The flybar has less effect on the blades, so it's not controlling it as much. Now I've also got the ZR balance bar on the top, and I've trimmed down the weights. You can see marks on the end there where I've trimmed it down just with a grinder and a file. Now that doesn't look like it because these are actually hollow inside and most of the weight's on the end, but there's around about a third of the weight missing, so they're lightened. Now the biggest mod of all, I think, is once we get the phasing right, is we put in this Align mixing arm, and that's where you'll find the majority of the forward momentum and the extra control. That's the biggest area. But what I've also done is I put in a different swash plate. Now I'll just take the canopy off. Now you can see, if I can get in a little bit closer here, that swash plate's off a Walkera FP. It's a very nice bird, and this is the V200D02 or 01 swash plate. Now it's a metal swash plate. It's got the nice brass bushing in the top there, but you'll notice it's very different to the standard double horse swash plate. Now the normal double horse one will work through this front swash guide here. I've made my own swash guide up, and that sits around about at a 45-degree angle. That's another area where double horse, I think, have got it wrong. They should have positioned their swash at 45 degrees. They've sort of got a foot in each camp, and it's having a problem with the phasing and balance and the pendulum effect, I think. But by putting in this this swash plate, I've found that probably don't get any more forward fast, like the speed up front's not any better. If I push forward, I'm still getting around about the same tilt on the swash, but the accuracy and the speed on the control sticks is much finer, much better. Now, coupled with all the metal linkages and everything here, and everything being tight, you'll find that is very enjoyable to fly. It's much quicker on the sticks, and if you make a mistake, there's plenty of cycle there. You can pull it back. It's controllable. Another thing I did is up the top here, notice you've got to keep this particular this bearing in here, or this pin that we're using here, which is in the middle of the blade grips, that has to be at the right tension. I'm finding there's big gains to be made there. You can see that mine moves around very freely, but if I try and move it up and down this way, you know, probably got half a mil of play if I'm lucky. It's beautiful. Now if you can get it to around about that sort of standard, you'll find that that's where it works the best, or that's where I find at least it works the best. And I've used my own pin in the middle here. I've drilled it right through the axle, or through the main shaft here of the helicopter, and I've used 2.5 millimeters, and I find that works very well. Another point is with the ZR head is that you also, if you're going to use this head, you have to use the ZR shaft, and it's taller. It's different to the normal double horse, and it goes right up to the top here. So if you're going to put a pin in here, you've got to drill through the shaft. The other thing I like about it is that the shaft going right to the top, there's no movement. The whole thing's captured and it's firm. Whether that's got anything to do with the pendulum effect that some are getting with their other mods, I'm not sure, but that's working for me beautifully. Okay, one of the other things I've done is in the front here, you've noticed I've changed around the battery location and where the PCB is. Now I've used a WL V912 PCB, which is out of a different helicopter. It's got some advantages. I think it's better designed for running the better motors. I've got a 180A Pro motor in here, which is a little bit better than stock. I've had no problems at all with any burnouts or any of those sorts of things, or any mismatches in the circuitry. I'm also running a V912 tail. Not very happy with that at the moment. I'm probably going to go for definitely going to go for the Honeybee direct drive, and that'll make a big difference. I'm wearing out these tail gears like just about every week, and they're noisy and I don't like them. But getting back to the PCB, one of the disadvantages with the V912 PCB is that for some reason, don't ask me why, they haven't given full throw in the servos, which is a bit of a joke. If they'd done that, they would have had a far faster helicopter. Some of the guys on the V912 forum are starting now to extend their servo arms, and that's starting to make a real difference. So that's what I've also done. You can see here I've just placed another piece of another servo arm off a 450, and that's a very solid piece of plastic. It won't bend, there's no flex in it. A couple of screws in here, and I've used some good 250 ball links. And you can notice I've also got a bit of a dog leg on the elevator arm. That's off a Walkera V200D02. That's what they use for their fly bar. Well, not fly bar, their fly barless head basically. So that's about it for now. But if anybody wants to have a go at the mods I've done here, especially if they want to know the exact linkages and the lengths and all that sort of stuff, contact me on the RC Groups forum. I'm called Laid Back Racer, and I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you.